Hello and welcome to the United Stand. Manchester United have drawn 0-0 in Sevilla. Unbeatable David De Gea saves lucky Mourinho, and Manchester United will be the headlines from the agenda press tomorrow. Will they be the fair headlines? The reality is 0-0 for Manchester United. My enduring feeling about that game is that you've got to try and score an away goal in Europe, because Sevilla, I think we can beat Sevilla at Old Trafford. I don't know why, but I do. But we've got to score twice. All they've got to do, I mean, Sevilla, I'll talk about that in a minute, but they score one goal at Old Trafford, we've got to score two. That performance tonight, I mean, if Jose Mourinho comes out and says he's really happy with that, who's he trying to kid? Who does he think he's managing? Do you think you're managing Chelsea again? Manchester United fans are educated. That wasn't a defensive masterclass. That was down to the fact that we've got the best goalkeeper in the world, and Sevilla can't hit the ocean from a boat. I mean, the amount of chances they had in that game. There were a couple of world-class saves from De Gea, but there was some terrible finishing from Sevilla. They had so many chances, and how they've not scored those chances tonight, we're just grateful. I'm ecstatic that we've come out of that with 0-0, because it's, you know, we've got one game to get through. If you can't beat Sevilla at Old Trafford, then you don't deserve to be in this tournament. But how we've got away with 0-0 there. I tell you what, looking at some of the teams left in this tournament, if we play Liverpool, Man City, Spurs, Bayern Munich, Real Madrid, Barcelona, we are out. Out. That game's 3 or 4-0. I mean, Sevilla could have scored 3 or 4 goals in that game. Let's not dress it up anyway. We have got away with that tonight. It's a really, really good result. But you've got to question yet again, what is going on with our midfield? I mean, Sanchez and Mata started with Lukaku. Rashford and Martial came on. It doesn't really matter. Pardon the pun, Juan. It doesn't matter who our front three is, because they are totally and utterly redundant, because our midfield is awful at getting the ball from back to front. The defence, I thought, was really good. I thought Smalling and Lindelof played well. Sevilla should have scored goals, but I thought they played well. But the constant problem is, week after week after week, is that the opposition are getting through our midfield way too easy and getting at our back four. And our back four is getting swamped. The midfield is like, it's like trying to catch a bowling ball with a poppadom. It just breaks every single time. There's nothing. We're not resistant to it. Matic, dreadful again. McTominay, I just don't think he's good enough. I felt sorry for him. Why is he being thrown into games like that? Because we've got nobody else. We've got nobody else. I thought Herrera was brilliant for 15 minutes. I'm so sad that Herrera's gone off with that injury, because he's probably going to be out for a while now. I thought Herrera looked exactly what I said we needed in the preview. Quick across the ground, quick at moving the ball, and then he's off after 15 minutes. And Paul Pogba was dreadful. Dreadful. I mean, if he's meant to be showing us, you know, Mourinho dropped him. Let's be honest. Mourinho dropped Pogba, because if it was fitness, you wouldn't bring him on after 15 minutes for Herrera. So Pogba was dropped. On that performance tonight, you can sort of see that there's a big problem between Pogba and Mourinho. And all I would say about that, defending Mourinho, is that with Sir Alex Ferguson, Pogba decided to go against the greatest sports manager there's ever been and not be patient and wait for his chance and go to Juventus. So Pogba will do what Pogba thinks is right for himself. And if he's not happy with Mourinho, then don't think for 1 minute that Pogba won't cause problems because he loves United, because he will. You know, Sir Alex Ferguson wanted Pogba to stay. He just felt he wasn't ready yet. So Pogba decided, I am ready and I'm going to Juventus. I don't care what the greatest sports manager in the world says. I'm off to Juventus. So Pogba will do what Pogba thinks is right for himself. And Pogba at the moment doesn't look very right in relation to his attitude at all. So I don't know the full story there. I don't know who's right, Pogba or Mourinho. But what I do know is that it's not helping us as Manchester United fans, and it's not helping Manchester United. And whoever's at fault, they need to sort it out very quickly, because my main focus is Manchester United. I don't really care who's right out of Pogba and Mourinho. I want what's best for United, and that's Pogba playing well and Mourinho sorting that midfield out, because the midfield is going to mess us up this season. It is just so... It's inefficient at attack and it's inefficient in defence. And we got away with that tonight. That is absolute. We should be buzzing, because that result tonight is totally and utterly undeserved. And there is only one man who deserves any credit, and that's David De Gea, because some of his saves were world class. But he's the world's best goalkeeper. The saves that De Gea makes, I'm not going to hear people say we were lucky, because that's what your goalkeeper's in the team to do. But it's nothing to do with Mourinho's defensive tactics. A goalkeeper trains themselves. It's nothing to do with high lines or organised 2-4s. They were getting through them. It was De Gea who kept us in the game, or bad finishing. Very, very lucky. Very lucky tonight, United. And as a United fan, I'll say that. But I'll take that. I would love it if we'd scored a goal, because I think that would have made the result a little bit better. But ultimately, I mean, Storyface says that Chelsea are going to run riot on the weekend. I've got to be totally honest with you. I don't think they will. I still think that we will win the game at the weekend. I do. I think we'll beat Chelsea. But it's an interesting one, I agree. But we'll have to wait and see with that. But it's weird because we get out with a draw. We're like, it's not too bad. But actually, I don't know. It's such a weird one. Anyway, I've got Sophie on the line. Hello, Sophie. All right?
Hi, Mark. I'm all right. Thanks. Are you?
Yeah, good. Give us your thoughts on the game tonight. It is definitely a weird one. Good result, but I just felt we were very, very lucky.
We were very lucky. I think if we were against a better team, we could actually finish, and we'd be in trouble, to be honest with you. I mean, all in all, you've got to feel quite positive as a United fan, because, like you said, it's a good result. But I'm just worried when we do come up against a decent team, we're going to really struggle.
I mean, Sevilla, the amount of chances they missed, it's no joke. I'm sure everybody watched it. We all saw what happened. Second leg, 0-0. I mean, my fear is that Sevilla... Well, actually, Sevilla couldn't score a goal if they wanted to, so we're probably all right. But it's... what's your thoughts on the second leg? I mean, I'm sure... I just feel we're very lucky to be coming out of that game with that tie still alive for us, because 2 or 3-0... You know, some people might say that's a bit generous, but it wasn't unrealistic. But the tie's still open for us. Are you confident we can do it at Old Trafford, or do you think that maybe there's still issues around this team? And you know, we didn't create many chances again tonight.
I still think there's issues around the team. I think that's clear for everyone to see. The midfield again today, we just looking imbalanced. Pogba wasn't at the races at all when he came on. I know he's been ill, but he just didn't look at it today. However, I do feel confident going back to Old Trafford. That was what I expected tonight. I expected a defensive performance. I think Mourinho went for the draw, really. A score draw would have been better for us, but I think realistically he wants to take it back to our own ground and deal with it there.
Darth Vader says we should feel positive. I agree with that. I agree with the positivity, because we did 0-0 flattered us. It did flatter us, but you know, that's if I'm on the wrong channel to say that's football. But Sevilla, they've got to score their chances. I want to talk about Pogba, Sophie. Effectively, I think it was a bit of uncertainty before the game whether he was dropped or it was to do with fitness. Came on after 15 minutes, so I think we can say dropped. What do you think's going on with Paul Pogba and Mourinho? He didn't do much when he was on. Well, maybe you thought he did. I mean, were you impressed with Pogba today?
No, I thought he was poor. He didn't look at the races. I thought when we brought Martial and Rashford on, he looked a bit better towards the end, because he had a bit more pace going forwards, which does help Pogba. But I thought it was poor again. I think there's definitely something there with Mourinho. I'm hoping it's not as bad as what the press are making out, but he's definitely unhappy. But the only way he's going to put that right is by him performing at the end of the day. Maybe today it was because he was still a bit ill. He wasn't 100%. But the fact that he brought Pogba on told me that actually he was fit, and like you say, he was dropped. So it's a bit concerning, really.
The Hassan's made a contribution. He says, calm down. We always played like this with Sir Alex Ferguson away from home in the Champions League. Very professional performance, in my opinion. Do you think that's accurate, Sophie?
Yeah, like I said, I expected that kind of a performance, but I thought Sevilla were there for the taking, really. I don't think we really gave it a go. I thought towards the end, when we made the subs and we went slightly more attacking, we started to create chances, but we didn't really create any chances in that game. That's the worrying thing for me. I'm not too worried about the result, 0-0. I'm feeling quite positive taking that back to Old Trafford. It's more the performance that worried me, because we just seem too negative.
Yeah, I mean, I said that during the watch along that, you know, one thing I think we've not really thought about is that the away goal is just such an advantage. I mean, Chelsea, Barcelona last night, if that's 0-0, Chelsea think, well, if we nick a goal, it makes it really hard for Barcelona. But that goal for Barcelona, they've got the away goal, they've got that advantage. If we had an away goal in a 1-1, Sevilla know that they've got to score at Old Trafford. Sevilla at Old Trafford now know if they do score, United have got to score twice. So I don't necessarily... And I think United, the way we're playing with that midfield at the moment, it's not like when we get to Old Trafford, it's going to be like it used to be. I mean, even if the Hassan's right, even if Sir Alex Ferguson did used to play that way away from home, at home, it would be 100 miles an hour, get 3 or 4 goals and just kill the tie. I mean, we don't see United do that. So I think it's going to be quite a nervy second leg because Sevilla will also fancy their chances. They probably can't hit the back of the net though.
Yeah, I don't know what game Steve McManaman was watching. I mean, he said we didn't look like conceding. For me, if we were playing against a better team, we would have conceded. If it wasn't for De Gea and their poor finishing, like you say, it could have been 2 or 3-0. So I don't know what game he was watching. But yeah, that's my concern, the lack of chances created for us. We didn't really create anything until the end, really. The game was more open. We had Rashford and Martial on. We looked more dangerous, but until that point, we just looked boring, really.
De Gea, obviously man of the match. I don't think anybody could go against that. But taking De Gea out of the equation, is there anybody else in the team that you think came out of that game with any credit?
I felt McTominay, in all fairness, he did a job in midfield. Very boring job, yeah. But I think that's what Mourinho wanted out of him tonight, to be honest. I think he did what was asked of him. So I actually thought he did himself proud tonight, McTominay.
Yeah, I mean, I wouldn't disagree, but I just don't get why that's good enough for Manchester United, if I'm totally honest. Just a simple, tall player who, I wasn't impressed. I thought the midfield were embarrassing again, and I include Pogba in that. I just think it gets bypassed too easy. I think you can't have a go at the attack because they're just not getting any decent ball. Defensively, I thought Smalling and Lindelof did quite well. Having said that, Sevilla still should have scored chances, but I think the one player I really want to sort of pick up is Matic. I mean, what did you think about Matic tonight?
Very, very similar to what he has done over the past few weeks. Very one-paced. Literally, I feel like we've got all we can out of Matic, and he doesn't stand out at all. He doesn't force any attacks. He passes sideways, slows stuff down. So yeah, disappointing again, and very similar to McTominay really, which is why our midfield is so slow in one place. I know Pogba came into it, but yeah, I don't know. We just seem very predictable, very one-paced. It doesn't help the likes of Lukaku, who fed off scraps again tonight. I thought Lukaku did okay. Should have done better with that volley chance, but other than that, I thought Lukaku did alright tonight as well.
Yeah, definitely. Well, thanks for calling in, Sophie. Thanks for opening up the show. Really good call. And
no problem.
I'll speak to you again soon.
Yeah, cheers.
Thanks, Sophie. You can get more of Sophie on the hairdryer treatments on YouTube as well. Hader Hammond says, look at our last 10 minutes with Rashford, Pogba and Martial on. That needs to be for 90 minutes with them 3 on together. In my opinion, it's not rocket science. Sanchez was lots of effort, but not a lot of final thing. I mean, I think the thing about Lukaku is that Lukaku needs to be on the end of things. He's getting involved in the build-up play of things, and his control and his build-up play isn't very good. And that was the problem with Lukaku in a game like that. You've got to get him on the end of things. I'll chuck Jared on just to see what he's got to say. Hello, Jared.
Mark.
How you doing?
I'm good.
What was your thoughts?
Rough, but professional performance. If we win against Chelsea, I should say that.
Yeah, I mean, do you think you're not one of them fans who thinks he was prioritising Chelsea, are you? Because
no.
Okay.
No, I think he came into this though going for a draw. They're 2 in the same basket. He came in here thinking about the Chelsea game, but I don't think he went in here saying I don't want to win this game. It is shocking though that the team that he selected. That's what I have a problem with, and I don't think he's endearing himself to our fan base at all. Not that he cares either, but this Chelsea game just became a whole lot more important because, again, we have 2 coaches who are barely hanging on to their jobs or the fan base. And I think whichever one loses is going to be in for a very tough few weeks before their next game. Very tough few weeks.
What with the team did he do wrong for you tonight? What was it that frustrated you about that team?
You know what? I would have liked to see Martial start. I think that any time he's not on the pitch, it's unfortunate. It's nice to see Rashford come back on, but to be honest, he does not have the confidence to be playing in this game. His first game should have been like Palace away. That would have been a great game for him to come back to. I think it's McTominay. played above his level, I felt today. And look, maybe we're all seeing something happen with him, which is great. But to chuck a kid in games like this is just, it's weird. It's like for the first time, I no longer understand what he's thinking all the time. And that is where I'm starting to get a little frustrated with Mourinho. You know?
Yeah. I mean, some of the things that I know have frustrated people, because I was there when the team news came out when we were doing the hour before kickoff. Luke Shaw not involved, Darmian on the bench, Pogba being dropped, although Pogba didn't actually do that much when he came on. Obviously Martial not starting. People wanted to see Bay start. I mean, it's such a difficult game to give much of an opinion on, other than to say David De Gea was just brilliant, and we
Pay
got
him $1 million a week.
We got a result. But anybody who watched the game knows that game could have been 0-0, 3-0. It to Sevilla, it could have been that. So to come out with the 0-0, we've got to be really, really pleased, obviously. But also, I think there'll be a few nerves about that second leg, as Sophie was saying, because an away goal for Sevilla, although they don't look like they could score if they played till Monday, if they get an away goal, we are still not creating many chances.
No, and you know what the thing is? It's like the atmosphere at Old Trafford 4 years ago. We're not talking about the same atmosphere anymore. So are teams really afraid to come and play? Where with us, I think in fact they're excited by it. So Sevilla, I believe, are in better position to win this leg because a 1-1 draw seems very possible the way we play. Again, I don't know. I just think that there's concern. The Pogba thing is a joke. I mean, it's a joke. The fact that you can't get your best player to play in arguably the most important game of the season so far, and you're benching him, there is some serious, serious things going on that we are not being told, which is a very big concern.
It's clearly been a fallout, hasn't there?
You know, I could see Raiola coming out and making a comment soon, and if that happens, that's something that everyone should keep an eye on, because he's going to start angling for a move away. I could see it.
Yeah, I've heard a few people mentioning that today, that Raiola will come out and say something, and I did say that in the watch-along, that, you know, you pay the devil, and sometimes it's going to go wrong, and Sir Alex Ferguson had no time for Mini Raiola, but we have took a lot of players off him. But when the relationship turns sour, that's going to be a problem for United. Nightmare TV says Man United have to put in a positive performance. They need to try and entertain the fans. End result is fine, but the performance is too negative. I just looking ahead to Chelsea, I think we're going to beat Chelsea. I think the crowd are going to be up for it. I think it's going to be the same as last year. I can see us, you know, smothering them and beating them, and a lot of positivity around the club, which, you know, maybe we wanted that tonight. Maybe that was a little bit optimistic, but I've got a funny feeling that game is going to go our way, and it could inspire us towards the end of the season. I think it's just 100%. It's just a difficult one tonight, because we were lucky, but ultimately we've got to remember we got a good result.
Yeah, I think, again, to your point, we should be up for that Chelsea game. But any other result than winning, it's a problem. And you want to be positive. You want to sit there and say this team can do it. They're going to put in the performance. This crowd's going to be up for it. But again, it all comes back to the same point. We're not talking about Chelsea drew Barcelona, and we drew Sevilla. It's like the level of quality here, it's not in the same sentence. So, you know, it's difficult to continue to defend a guy when these games keep popping up, a Newcastle, a Stoke, Sevilla, and he's not producing the style of play or the results that I think we want to see. But again, it's a full season to look back at and see if we are happy with what he's done. I think, as we've said before, these next few weeks are the most important in his career here. And if he's to have a long-term career at United, he better win these games. He better beat Chelsea. He better beat Sevilla. He better get us into the next round of the Champions League. But to be honest, I guess the question then is, what if we play like a Man City or a Liverpool in the next round? I think we're going to get absolutely slaughtered. And it's like, I almost would rather just say, please put us against a foreign team. Because if we lose to a Barcelona, I can get over it. But I can't get over losing to Liverpool. And they look excellent, these teams. They look prepared for the tournament they're in. And I guess that's my question is, do you see maybe he's just not all into it anymore? Maybe his foot is half out the door. I really don't know. But I just say from this performance, 0-0, job done. Chelsea's a big game. Show up.
Thanks, Jared. Really good call.
You stay well, Mark.
You too, pal. Speak to you soon.
Thanks, buddy.
Let me just, before I take another call, Hader Hammond says, Hader Hamoud says, imagine Sanchez played left wing and Martial left attacker. Whole teams would be defending on the left of the pitch. Laugh my arse off. Still down to the same lack of creativity and tempo. Paul Robinson, if we're happy with this football, we are settling for horrible football. I'd agree with Jared there. That we are going to have a situation where we are going to get hammered by a better team. They had a lot of chances tonight, Sevilla, and it's not like the Arsenal game in November where we scored 3 ourselves. We didn't look like scoring ourselves tonight. We just hung on in there, and we came out with a 0-0 thanks to De Gea and a bit of luck. I think if you play a better team, anybody who can finish will absolutely kill us. That's the thing. Stephen, can you hear me?
Hi, Mark. How you doing?
Not too bad. I'm happy with the result, but I'm wide awake, eyes open to a lot of the criticisms about United. I thought we were lucky tonight, and De Gea made a couple of world-class saves as well. I haven't heard Mourinho's comments yet, but if he comes out and tries to say it was a very professional, organised performance, I think he's trying to kid people.
Yeah, I think from my point of view, I made the comment before the game. We set up more like a Stoke City side than a Manchester United side right now, and I think genuinely, I think you either go full hog and say Jose out and kick off, get the banners and the planes ready, or somehow we just have to come to a place of blissful ignorance and acceptance that this is how we play under Jose. I think this is. He has played better attacking football than some teams, but it's not un-Jose, and we can't be that surprised that this is how we're setting up. It is boring, and it's a step on from Van Gaal. And I think had we not had Moyes and Van Gaal, it would have been more glaring how bad we are. But it's like, I think if you take over from anyone in any situation where it's been bad, you're always going to look better by comparison. But it's just the same thing week in, week out. And as fans, we look at it and we say, well, this is what he needs to do for it to work. And we'd all pretty much agree that we would have started that game with Martial on the left, Sanchez in the centre or right, a bit more attacking flair. And it's, I don't know what we do. I think we have to just accept that this is how we play. I think it's almost irrelevant tonight because if we play like that against any other team that's left in the competition, so what? We're going to get absolutely smashed. And I think it's concerning. But Mourinho wins. He's boring, but he wins. And I think we could easily win another cup. We could get the FA Cup perhaps, but we'll probably do it in a professional way, as you say.
Last manager who won the FA Cup got sacked the next day. Matthew McFadden's made a comment. He says, thanks for the contribution, Matthew. He says, 0-0 away score is a frail one. Does anyone really have the confidence in the team to score 2 past a good side? That's what will have to happen in Sevilla, even get 1 goal at Old Trafford. And remember, it's 15 games for Manchester United now against Spanish opposition, where we haven't scored more than 1 goal. So we'd have to, if Sevilla scored at Old Trafford, we'll have to break that duck as well. But, I mean, the attackers can be... we were talking about Mourinho's previous teams. They have been quick on the attack. I look at the defence. Well, the defence takes care of itself. The defence is the defence. I look at the attack. We've got lots of good attackers. Alexis Sanchez, Martial, Lukaku, backups like Rashford and Lingard. But the Manchester United problem is the midfield. How does he solve that midfield problem? I mean, I thought Herrera, I spoke about him yesterday on the preview. Herrera, the forgotten man, he can be so important because he's quick, he's dynamic. Started off really well, 15 minutes he's off. And now we're stuck now with God knows what's wrong with Pogba. Matic just, I don't know what's gone wrong with him. McTominay, I think, isn't ready. And he may never be ready. And I agree with Sophie and a lot of other people. He didn't do himself any harm tonight. But I still don't see anything better than an okay midfielder who probably would be struggling to get in a Stoke 11. And then Carrick. Carrick's not even in Spain tonight. So the midfield is a huge problem. And we still have got the 3 most important, most massive games to come. I mean, I'm very worried. I've just seen Mourinho hug the commentator, is that a Van Hal moment where he falls on the pitch? Are we starting to get eccentric behaviour like that now? I don't know.
Bizarre. I think I agree with you, and I think you do the right thing by saying back Mourinho, because I think as United fans we don't want to become like Chelsea and Arsenal and saying Mourinho out. I don't think that is the right thing. However, I think it's really hard. Mourinho's making it really hard to for us to support him at the moment. So if you think under Ferguson, now and then with Ferguson, I think, what is he doing? Like leaving Beckham on the bench, or just he would make bizarre decisions. But more often than not, they would come off. And then you think after 90 minutes, you think, oh yeah, he's Alex Ferguson. He is right. I think with Mourinho now, it's you want to trust him, but then I'm not thinking, oh yeah, I doubted him last week and it came good. I'm having to go back years and years to when he last won the league to try and cling on to that to almost validate his decision making. Even things like not playing De Gea in the FA Cup. He's our number one keeper, and he's coveted by all the best teams in the world. And for a competition as big as the FA Cup, he's leaving him on the bench. Well, De Gea can't be happy about that, so he just does things to create unrest in the players, and you just think, oh man, just keep it simple, and you just want to do it so that it'll work. I don't think we can blame the midfield to a degree, but he's been at the club for over 18 months now, so if he could see a problem there, he should have addressed it by now. He didn't buy a single player in the January transfer window last year, and he didn't buy any this one, but obviously he swapped Mkhitaryan for Sanchez. But he needed to do more, and I struggle to believe that the board are being that tight with him. But it's disappointing. It's really wanted it to come good, but it just isn't happening. The final third is a joke. We had one shot on target tonight, one shot, and it's maddening.
Yeah, it is. It is frustrating. Thanks for calling in, Stephen. Really good points. Please do call in again.
Yeah, no worries, mate. Thanks.
Cheers, pal. Yeah, I mean, I'm just having a look at the live comments there, and apparently Mourinho's come out bigging up McTominay again. I mean, I think the man's deluded. I do. I'm not. And again, I don't want to have a pop at McTominay, but the midfield was rubbish. It was rubbish, and collectively, if you're going to say he played well because he's 21, he shouldn't be playing. If we're just saying he played well because he's a kid, that's not good enough. Just because you're a kid doesn't mean you say, oh, we played well. This is Manchester United's midfield three in a Champions League knockout game. We are too big a club to just be saying, well, we played a kid and he played well. It's not good enough. He didn't play well. He didn't play well because the midfield was like a piece of Swiss cheese. There were so many holes in it. I'm getting tired of it. I'm getting tired of this midfield issue at Manchester United, and I'm getting tired of Jose Mourinho trying to mug people off with his fake propaganda about midfielders who aren't good enough. That midfield wasn't good. Pogba wasn't good. Matic wasn't good. And McTominay wasn't good. The only thing I would say about McTominay is I felt sorry for him because he's a kid being thrown into a situation like that by a manager who should know better. I am furious with Mourinho in relation to the midfield. I don't want Mourinho out, but I'm fed up of the propaganda. I'm fed up of him trying to kid people that things are happening which they aren't happening. And it really does frustrate me. It really does. Let's see what other people have got to say. I want to try and get a wide range of people on the show tonight, as usual. So let's go with... Here we go. Oh, let me give Paul a go, because he does do the website for us. Paul, can you hear me?
I certainly can, Mark. How are you?
I'm good, thanks. You?
Yeah, not too bad.
What's your thoughts?
Well, yeah, I've just been reading some of the comments and looking at some tweets on Twitter, and there's a lot of hate out there at the moment for Jose Mourinho and the way that he set us up to play the game, and how the way he approaches the game is really bad. And people send Jose out. That's basically what I'm getting at, and I think it's completely unjustified. In that game, there were so many times when we had the potential to attack and to create something, but so many times The final ball let us down. Countless times from Matic taking too long on the ball. The amount of times that Sanchez picked up the ball in a central position, and he's looking up at the wings, waiting for the fullbacks to get into space, and they're not. And you can see him waving his hands, waving people forward. So many times that we had chances to create attacks, but the final ball was just absolutely poor. And that's what makes it look like we're not attacking. Because the fact is, the players that we've got on the pitch just can't think. They haven't got the vision and the awareness to pick out a pass early enough. That's the big problem we've got at the moment, and it's been like that week in, week out. So a lot of people at the moment are jumping on Jose, but you've got to think of it like that. You know, if we had players that could actually pick out a pass, players that had the awareness and the vision, we probably would be attacking a lot more in these games. You know, I think people are just jumping on, I'm not going to say jumping on the bandwagon because that phrase gets used too much, but it's like when you're a teenager at school and you start smoking for the first time because you think it's cool. That's why people are saying Mourinho out. They think it's the cool thing to do because everyone else is saying it. I just think it's completely unjustified at the moment.
Do you not think, though, when you're talking about the midfield for Manchester United, that actually that is the problem with Manchester United, is that it's, you know, Mourinho's been here for 18 months. It's his responsibility. He picks that team. If those players aren't good enough. I mean, we're in a terrible situation with our midfield. I mean, I don't know whether you've heard, he's come out again, bigging up Scott McTominay, and you know, maybe he didn't have a bad game, but he's not a Manchester United quality player in a Champions League Champions League knockout game. He's just a simple player who does simple things, who I felt was getting bullied by Nzonzi and Banega, just like Matic, to be fair. I thought Matic was the worst player on the pitch. Pogba, what's the issue there? Herrera's now injured. Fellaini is injured. And God, when Fellaini comes back, we're not going to get any dynamism there, are we? Carrick, not even in Spain. We're in the middle of February. We've got FA Cup to play for. We've got second to hold on to. We've got Champions League to hopefully do well in. I just got no... That midfield is a mess. It's an absolute mess. And that can only come down to the manager. I mean, I'm Mourinho in, but I just think, why did we go and buy Alexis Sanchez when we had Martial? That money could have been spent on a midfielder. And we, you know, you're not always... It's not about the individual. It's about what's best for your team. And that midfield looks just so redundant to me at the moment. They were getting... Huddersfield cut it apart at the weekend. Sevilla tonight. I mean, I think we'll beat Chelsea on Sunday because I think we'll just get up for it, get up for the game. But I think when things settle down after that big up for it game, we'll see the same problems.
No, I agree with you. The midfield is definitely a problem at the moment. But if you think back a year, 2 years, when we were having the debate, so, you know, what's the most problem area of the pitch? The midfield wasn't the problem at the time. Before it was the defence, then it was the attack, and now we're seeing a problem with the midfield. And that Mourinho's already come out and addressed the fact that he needs to strengthen in the midfield, so I have no doubts that he will. But you've got to think, last season, Carrick was absolutely fantastic. You said it yourself, no Carrick, no party. Herrera was player of the year. You know what I mean? Pogba is Pogba. So up until now, our midfield's actually been pretty decent. But at the moment, it just seems to have fallen by the wayside. And that's the problem at the moment.
Yeah, I mean, you're right. I mean, we were 4-0 FC. We did well in November away to teams like Watford and Arsenal, who, you know, they're no slouches in the Premier League. So it seems to be a recent phenomenon with that midfield. Something seems to have gone wrong, almost at the Spurs game, I suppose. We're just suddenly getting cut apart, not able to get the ball quick enough from back to front, which means we're not creating chances. I mean, it's a cliche, but the midfield is the problem with Manchester United. You sort that midfield out, we'll start to create chances and the defence will be protected better. You know, it could be as simple as one player. It could be, if Matic was actually on form, United would be on form. It's a bit like when Carrick played, isn't it, all those years? For a decade, stick Carrick in front of the back four. Rooney used to say it. Everybody in the attack had confidence because you always knew Michael Carrick was there covering the spaces and running the game. And at the moment, the midfield is suddenly not able to do that. Is it as simple as the fact that Matic has just gone south with his form, or is it Pogba as well? You know, it's a difficult one to fix.
I do think that Matic is part of the problem, especially in recent weeks. You look at right up until last season. I mean, Carrick was, you know, he had the quality to shield the back four, to read a situation, to make an interception, but he also had the pace, the speed. We've seen him outrun Sergio Aguero, for Christ's sake, not so long ago. So he had the ability to do all of those things. Matic, he's strong, don't get me wrong. When he's got the ball at his feet, he can put his foot on the ball and he can shield a player off of it and wait for a pass. But what he doesn't possess that Carrick possessed, and I said this, I think last time I called in, or might have been on the podcast, that the difference between him and Carrick is when you've got Carrick in front of the defence, if he's about to receive a pass, he's already looking around for his next pass. Sort of thing that Scholes would do. When you see Scholes play, he's always looking around for the next pass before he's even got the ball. And that was something that Carrick could do all the time. Matic doesn't do that. He's got the ball, he's got to hold it. Then he's looking around, and by that point, the other team's reorganised. Our players that are running forward, if there are any, by that point, they're now going to be in offside positions. Pogba, I don't know what's going on with Pogba recently. So I thought even today he was rubbish, just trotting around everywhere. He kept losing the ball. And he's playing in the 4-3-3, what we've been screaming out for. So it's just the midfield needs to be sorted. I'm not panicking at this stage, because it'd be silly to panic at this stage. We're second in the league. Mourinho is going to be fully aware of what the issue is, and he will address it. I'm confident of that. But at the moment, that's for me at least. Anyway, I'm not sure. Obviously, not everyone's going to agree, but for me at the moment, the problem is getting that ball forward quickly. Like some people have said in the comments, all they do is pass sideways because they haven't got the awareness, the vision, the speed, the quick thinking to be able to pick a pass out quickly, to see it, to spot a player running. That's another problem as well. Players making runs into spaces, attackers dropping too deep all the time to pick up the ball. It's a catch-22, and it all stems from the midfield. Once that's sorted, I reckon we'll see the attacking football that we've been longing to see. We've just got to be patient for it.
Great call, Paul. Thanks for the call, and really good to get that other side of it as well, which I think is really important. I'll speak to you again soon, pal.
Yeah, cheers. Thank you.
Cheers, Paul. Of course, I know, I don't even need to look at the live comments. I know some cynics would say the reason we're not passing forward is because Mourinho tells them not to. But, that's what it's all about, opinion, isn't it? I just want to read you some of Jose Mourinho's comments, pass a bit of comment on them myself. He says that not relieved in regards to a goalless draw. The game was even. The stats are what it is, and I feel the result reflects what the game was. I think... Look, De Gea kept us in the game, didn't he? Let's not dress it up anyway, the other way. He also said, I think it's a bad injury for Herrera. Great. He had a small injury that stopped him for the last couple of matches, but the medical team said he was 100% ready for the last Saturday. It didn't look like he was fully fit. And all the questions in the press conference were about Paul Pogba. They should have been about the kid, McTominay. Again, talking about McTominay, who I thought was bang average. I'm not going to say he was poor, but I thought he was bang average. And I think we're just celebrating somebody because Mourinho has to... I think it's propaganda for Mourinho. He is like that. He's got to protect his ego. And I think he is... oh, God, I've just seen why. I've just seen why Mourinho hugged the commentator. Because the commentator said that Scott McTominay played well, so he hugged him. It's just mildly cretinous, isn't it? It really is. He did not play well. It was just an average performance from a kid in a crap midfield that got absolutely cut through again like it did against Huddersfield. And I'm sorry, if that performance from McTominay is something to celebrate, we're going to be a mid-table club next year because the standard's not good enough. And I wish people would see it. And this is somebody who's Mourinho in. But I'm not falling for his propaganda. The only reason he's saying McTominay played well is because he dropped Paul Pogba for him. So he's got to be made to look like the special Mourinho again. Oh, I've dropped Pogba for McTominay and McTominay played well. I win. I look really good because I'm the special one. But you're not. You were lucky tonight. You were lucky. De Gea won you that game. And effectively 0-0 was a win for United. So I'm just not falling for his propaganda. I'll stand by him, I'll stick up for him, I'll believe in him, but I'm not falling for his nonsense propaganda of I dropped Pogba for McTominay and McTominay had a worldie. The midfield got battered. I don't know what game he's on about. The midfield got absolutely battered. We've had a super chat. I'm getting annoyed. I hate that sort of stuff. Mr. United, our weekly player wage bill is $2.5 million. Everyone talks about how Mourinho is the wrong manager, but no one even mentions the criminal wages. Well, the wages are the wages, aren't they? That's what people get paid for in football. The whole team's average, says J Cam. Mark, we've had a mid-table defence and a mid-table centre midfield. Here we go. Mark's rants incoming. I'm not rant. Look, I'm not. You're not pulling me in. I'm not Mourinho out. I like Mourinho. But I've watched Mourinho for years, and that's just propaganda. He dropped Pogba for McTominay, and he's hugging commentators because somebody said McTominay played well. What? We've watched that game. Did McTominay run that midfield? No. Did Sevilla run the midfield? Yes. Is he a kid? Yes. Did he do well for a 21-year-old? Yes. Is it Manchester United quality? No. Should he be playing? No. Why is he playing? Because Mourinho's chucking him into the deep end to make a point against the player he bought £90 million for. That is not something to be celebrated. That needs sorting out. Mourinho and Pogba need to sort their differences out. Mourinho will be gone in a decade. Paul Pogba will be gone in a decade. Will we be gone in a decade? Well, not God willing we won't. We'll still be Manchester United fans. So I'm not really interested in Mourinho and Pogba's issue. I want Mourinho, best manager in the world, and Pogba, best midfielder in the world. I don't want Scott McTominay probably end up playing for Preston North End by his mid-20s. I want the best. That's what I want. I don't want points being made when it's a knockout tournament in the Champions League. And I tell you what, somebody said it as well. Every other English team has done themselves credit in this Champions League. 4 other teams. We've just embarrassed ourselves with that performance. And we've got to do better. We've got to do better. The positive is that we will beat Chelsea. I've been saying this for so long. We bloody better. I think we'll beat Chelsea on Sunday. And I think we'll see a good performance. But tonight, I won't celebrate it. Luke, can you hear me?
Yeah, can you hear me?
Perfect, mate. What do you want to talk about?
Mark, when I joined this channel last summer, I told everyone about this channel. I loved it. I love the effort you go to with your transfer, daily and all that kind of stuff. I think the research you do and all, you get the people on and all that. You won't change your opinion about anyone, will you?
Well, I tell you what, maybe I shouldn't do, because if you remember last summer, I said I don't want Matic. And then in August, I thought he was fantastic. And I said, you know what? I'll take the L. I was wrong. He's not the player I thought last year. But actually, he's become that player again. So maybe I shouldn't have done. But I can't think of a time that I've changed my mind very often. No. Where are we going with this?
The point is, because, I've got about 30 people to join this. I told them how good you were. I told them how professional you are and all this kind of stuff. But if they will stop watching, and the reason they stop watching is because you say the same things that you said last summer. I know what you're going to say before you say it. You're going to diss McTominay, you're going to diss Matic, you're going to diss Smalling, praise Smalling, you're going to diss Jones, you're going to say Martial should play left wing, you're going to praise Herrera. Can't you just? It's like as if you don't watch. I've just watched the review after the game. They all said the same thing. McTominay was our best outfield player. Scholes, Lampard, Rio. Don't they know anything? Don't Steve McManaman know anything?
No,
Lampard special mention for Matic for playing well, and you refuse to say it. Why can't you just analyse the game?
Mate, look, I'm all for opinion. I can tell that you don't agree with what I've got to say. That's totally fine. I have
a lot of stuff you do, Mark. A lot of stuff you do, I sit there and I applaud you, honestly, because I wouldn't be able to do what you do. So I give you credit for that. But the point is, I sit there and I watch night after night. I watch religiously. But I know you're going to say the same thing. You're going to say, "Oh, we should sign Fabinho," or we should bring in Fosu Mensah, or we should bring in Twanzebe, Pereira.
Do you not agree with that then? Do you not agree with that?
Well, how can you judge him? How can you judge Fosu Mensah on a few games? I'm not saying he's not going to be a good player. I don't know. I'm not going to say Fabinho.
Well, I've seen Fosu Mensah play for Manchester United already. I've seen Twanzebe play for Manchester United in big games in the Premier League.
3?
What?
3 games? 5 games?
How many games does Scott McTominay have for United?
Not many.
I saw Twanzebe play 3 games last season away from home against Arsenal and Spurs, and they went for us, and he was man of the match. I saw Fosu Mensah play 2 years ago away at Spurs and was man of the match. I'm not,
we lost that game as well.
Chong and Gomez, I haven't say start them for United because they've not started for United, but I've seen those players play for United. Fabinho is better than Matic. Smalling, a lot of people don't like Smalling. I think he's okay, but when Bay's fit, Smalling's on the bench. McTominay, am I blind? Did I just see a midfield dominate Sevilla, or did I see Sevilla dominate Manchester United? And what did I say?
You saw neither. You saw a poor Sevilla team that are good going forward, and the reason why he set up that way was because if we played attacking, I understand why United fans want to do that. But if we set up attacking, they would have just got us on the break. They would have done us. We set up that way. He's gone to get 0-0, maybe 1-1. The results, it's a good result. It's not a great result. I'm not going to say we played like Barcelona. Of course we didn't. But people saying, we're in the next round. We're going to get smashed and all this. Well, we're going to play different in the next round. It's going to be different compared to another team.
Yeah, I just said that. The second before you came on, I said, we'll beat Chelsea on Sunday. And I think we'll see a different United. And I think we'll see an attacking United. So, in the context of the result, good.
Mark, I'm not sitting there saying that you don't understand your football or anything like that. I'm not saying that. What I'm saying is you won't change your opinion on other players, and it's getting a bit repetitive. For someone who's built up a really good channel, and it's obvious that you built up a really good channel because all your live comments and all that, and I respect you for that 1,000,000%. But you've got to analyse it how you see it. Lukaku, I've started to warm to Lukaku. He was dreadful tonight, and sometimes you can say, "Oh, it's because of not the service and all that," and you'd be 100% right. But he was dreadful tonight. You've got to say how you see it. You can't just say you can't have your favourites. I don't agree.
I don't recall saying Lukaku had a good game. I didn't say Lukaku had a good game.
No, I'm just saying, for example, I like Lukaku, but tonight he was dreadful.
Yeah, he didn't hold it up very well at all, did he? And I think with Lukaku, he's got to be the man on the end of the ball, not part of the build-up play, because his touch isn't great. And, but with the ball's too slow. The ball's too slow from back to front. That's the problem with United at the moment. And it's, I don't think Matic is playing particularly well at the moment. Pogba's a big favourite of mine. I mean, what was your thoughts on Pogba tonight?
Yeah, he was poor. He was poor. And that's it. Is he our best player at the club? Of course he is. Did he play like our best player? No, he's nowhere near. But, I don't know what the situation is there, and so I'm not going to make a comment on it. But I don't know. I just sit there and I listen. It was winding me up, to be honest, mate, because I know what you're going to say before you say it.
I'm glad you do, because I don't.
But you do, Mark. You say the same thing. If you watch your videos back, you say the same thing every time.
Well, look, mate, it's all about opinion, but...
I respect you. I know it don't sound like I do, but I actually do respect you for what you're doing. But I just think you need to judge things personally. It's anyone, like you say, everyone's entitled to their own opinion, but personally, I think that you judge things based on... You know what you're going to say before the game happens. You know what you're going to say in the after preview. It's just results dependent.
All right, mate. Well, we'll agree to differ, but thanks for the call.
Take care. Bye-bye.
Cheers, pal. Well, I think we'll take another call in a minute. But, look, it's all about opinion. I don't agree with that call at all. I think, I've been very consistent about Mourinho. Been very consistent about Fellaini. If McTominay was man of the match outfield and Scholes and Lampard and everybody thinks he was, then... I don't do this because I listen to pundits anyway. That's never been what the United stand's all about. I think I hope I'm proved wrong about McTominay, but I still keep saying I don't see what that lad brings to our midfield. But our midfield's terrible. Maybe with a really good Matic and Pogba, he can express himself. But I feel he's being thrown in at the deep end, and I felt Sevilla dominated our midfield. And if somebody wants to tell me that that's not the case, then how could I have said that before the game? How is that predictable? I don't know. Let's have a look. Everyone is entitled to their opinion. Okay, everyone's talking about that. Let's take another call. Let's try Isaiah. Isaiah, can you hear me?
Yes, I can. How are you?
I'm good, thanks. You?
I'm well. I was listening to the last caller. I was a little bit confused on what he's on about. I mean, how are you going to change your opinion? If Scott McTominay wasn't good, he wasn't good. I personally don't think Scott McTominay is a bad player, but, there's a huge problem if Scott McTominay is going to be our best midfield player. There's a huge problem there. And I think that needs to be addressed. But what I wanted to talk about tonight is something that's really, really been concerning me for a while now, and it's just that Jose Mourinho, to me, there are two parts of management. The tactical aspect of management in which you set up your players to perform the way you want them to perform, and hopefully they perform well. The second issue, or the second big thing to management, is being able to keep players happy. That, to me, is where Jose Mourinho is starting to lose the fans, and lose the players maybe. I'm looking at Paul Pogba. Something must have happened. There must be something that we don't know, because the way Pogba is playing, he doesn't look to be the same confident player on the ball that we've seen this season. That's a huge issue, because he's our best midfielder. If Pogba goes down, there is no one else. Herrera, when he came on and played tonight, I thought Herrera was terrific for the time he was on, but he got hurt. McTominay, I disagree with you a little bit, Mark. I think I think McTominay could work his way onto the United bench, to be honest with you. I think that, I know that's an unpopular opinion, but I think that the way I see him play, he is a 21-year-old kid. I think that if he keeps getting a run of games, he'll improve. He's
definitely going to get a run of games because we've got no one else. So, he's going to have to get a good run of games. So I think it's great that people are happy with him and behind him because he is came through the youth setup. I want him to be good. I think people are getting a bit confused here. I don't think he was the worst player on the pitch by a long way. But what annoys me is the way Mourinho comes out with his propaganda at the end saying, oh yeah, McTominay was great. And the only reason he's saying that is because he dropped Pogba for him. And it's all about, oh, I'm right, I'm Jose Mourinho, the special one. And I don't care how good McTominay is, he should never have been playing above Paul Pogba. That's just not how you... In a game of that importance, you should not do that.
Absolutely not. And here's the thing. Because here's the thing, Mark. If you think that Scott McTominay is going to be a good player, not you, but people in general, if you think Scott McTominay has that potential, fine. But what you're not going to convince anybody of, and this is basic football knowledge, is that he's a better player than Paul Pogba. And as dreadful as Paul Pogba is, he's going to be better than McTominay is going to be. And that's just the fact of the situation, you know. But getting back to what I was saying before about Jose Mourinho failing to keep players happy, this is what I'm starting to see. Paul Pogba looks unhappy. Anthony Martial is starting. He doesn't look the same player that he was when he was confident playing on the left-hand side. I know people will say, well, you got to play Alexis Sanchez there. He's a number 7. You've got to maximize his ability. You got to maximize how much he can do with the ball on the left-hand side because that's the position he played for Arsenal. But in reality, if he's as good as advertised, he should be able to play anywhere across the front, the forward line. He should be able to play in the middle as a number 10, or he should be able to play on the right-hand side. I personally hope that he would play as a number 10 because he's not going to put Mata there, and no one's going to convince me that Lingard. Can I just get out my system real quick that the Messi Lingard stuff was absolutely ridiculous? I wanted to puke. Because now that Jesse Lingard, and it's the same people who some of the same people who were calling him Messi Lingard before, now, oh, he's crap. You know, go on Facebook and look. Some of the same fans, how quickly they turn on him because he's not playing well anymore, because he had a good run of games. Is he a good bench player? Yes, but he's not going to be a starter for Manchester United, or he shouldn't be. And that's a fact. We're arguing, us as Manchester United fans shouldn't be arguing about the type of quality we have in the squad. We know who our best players are. We know Luke Shaw is a better left back than Ashley Young. We know that Paul Pogba is our best midfielder. We know that. And we know right now, in the way we're playing, that there's clearly a huge disconnect with this team. It starts with the midfield, in my opinion. I didn't have too much of an issue with the defense tonight. Lindelof has really improved, I got to say. He looks a lot better than he did when he first got here. That's for sure. He looks a lot more confident. And Chris Smalling, for all the flack he gets, I'm not the biggest Chris Smalling fan, but Chris Smalling is a good, solid defender. Yeah, he's got a mistake in him, but he's good in the air. And the fact of the matter is that when you call upon him, he comes up, he turns up, and he does the best he can. The best ability is availability, and that's what he is. You know, Eric Bailly. You know, I love Eric Bailly. He's our best center back. I honestly think that Eric Bailly is a top 3 center back in the Premier League when he's healthy. But if he can't stay healthy, then what are we supposed to do? There's nothing we can do. You know, definitely some concerns. In conclusion, though, going into the Chelsea game, we saw them draw against Barcelona. To be fair, I don't think Barcelona played their best football. Barcelona, if anybody watches La Liga, are way better than what they played yesterday. But if we go into Chelsea and play the way we played today, I'm very concerned. I think we're going to get our asses beat, because there's no way that we're going to be able to play that slow midfield and have to compete and be able to compete with Chelsea, who's going to be in, you know, yeah, they conceded the goal, but they're going to be up to play Manchester United. And when you look at players like Willian, and when you look at players like Hazard and Olivier Giroud, you know, no more of this height advantage. They got Olivier Giroud in the squad now. They'll throw him in there on corner opportunities now. He can get up for the ball. You know, he can beat us there. And David De Gea is not going to be Super Dave all the time. That's going to be a big issue going into the game. I honestly think we'll beat Chelsea 1-0. That's what I'm going to go for. I'm trying to be positive here.
I do as well. I think we'll win.
Yeah, I think we'll win that game. But we have got to start finding ways to keep these players happy. Jose has got, in my opinion, it's not even necessarily the tactics. I think when Jose gets the players he wants, he'll be able to run the better system. The fact that we're in second place and he's able to running the system we have is, I'm not going to say phenomenal, but it's impressive that as poor as the football has been, we're still in second place and we're holding that position down. And if we come out of this rough patch still in second place, then clearly we know that Jose Mourinho, he's got a plan and he just needs the players to run that plan. But I'll tell you what, he's not going to run that plan if Pogba's out the door. And not having Martial, who do you put there? I mean, if Martial leaves this club, Jose Mourinho will get obliterated by the press. He will get absolutely eradicated because he is our best sort of young player. Marcus Rashford's a great player, but he can't do what Anthony Martial does on the wing. And you can move Martial to the center if you wanted to. He can honestly fill those roles if you absolutely needed him to. And I think he could do a damn good job. But Mark, we're not going anywhere if those two guys leave the club. And with Jose talking about we're not buying any attackers, we need to keep them happy, Mark. We got to find a way.
Thanks for the call, pal. Really good and upbeat.
Absolutely. Glory, glory, Man United. We'll figure this out. Everybody, subscribe to the United Stand. The best content, the best fan content on YouTube.
Cheers, pal. Thanks for calling.
Yeah.
Calling again.
No problem.
Thanks for that. Nice call. What was I going to say? I liked the statement. Availability is the best ability, or something like that. The best ability is availability, and that's what I was trying to say about Smalling before. Is that he's always available this season, and we've had a lot of injuries at the centre back positions, and his availability has been really important. But what I wanted to add in as well is that Lindelof has been quite good in November, but Mourinho just put him to the side, didn't he, for 2 months, and now he needs him, he brings him back. But what I must be honest, it was in my head there that. I don't think you can say the defence played that well today when you think about it, because actually, how many chances did Sevilla have? And it's only because they didn't put those chances away that we're saying the defence played well. If they put those chances away, we would have had the time to look back and see who should have been marking them, how did that happen, and it may well have been that Lindelof should have had him, Smalling, Young, Valencia. I don't know those facts because I haven't looked at every chance Sevilla missed. But for all those chances they missed, there must have been defensive errors to give them such good chances. And maybe it was the midfielders not tracking runners, I don't know. And also, I thought the call was good about Giroud. Giroud can head the ball. And whilst David De Gea made 2 world-class saves today, the best of the lot was just before half-time. Right on the edge of the 6-yard box. Lovely cross. The striker, it's not straight at De Gea, he's got to move his hand a bit. But that striker should put that somewhere that De Gea can't. No keeper can save it. So again, I think a decent striker in those positions. I think if Sevilla have got decent strikers, they would have scored 2 or 3 tonight. So we were quite fortunate in that sense as well. The other thing I wanted to bring up as well, I think what a lot of people were saying Messi, Lingard a month ago. I didn't, and a lot of people are now saying he's crap. I think the truth is somewhere in between. I think he's a decent squad player, and he needs to play in games where we can run at people. And I think Lingard's game has suffered. Coincidentally, with the fact that the midfield is now not getting the ball quick enough from back to front, because Lingard loves to run at stretched defences, much the same as Sanchez, much the same as Martial, and we're not stretching defences at the moment, which is a little bit of a shame. I want McTominay to go on loan next season, says Man United forever. Jose is a totalitarian. My way or your way out. So my way or you're out, says Paul Robinson. Right or wrong? Chris McGowan says I have a go at McTominay every chance you get. I think you know what, I'm getting a little bit tired of this McTominay thing, because actually I didn't say he was the worst player on the pitch tonight. I said Matic was worse and Pogba was worse. I said I felt sorry for him because he's a kid thrown into a massive game like that and he doesn't look ready. I feel sorry for the fans who are falling for the propaganda of Mourinho because he dropped Pogba for him, so he has to make himself look good by saying McTominay was something he wasn't. All I'm saying is I don't see how you can say one of our midfielders played well when our midfield was like a piece of Swiss cheese. There were so many holes in it and Sevilla just battered it. So how can and the same against Huddersfield, our midfield was rubbish. So how can we say that somebody from our midfield played well when the midfield was rubbish? That's all I'm saying. I'm not picking out an individual. Thomas Dillon, I don't know what. Well, don't watch. I don't know. Are some people like Are we paying people on the United Stand to go around the globe and forcefully make people watch this channel? If you don't like what's said on it, don't watch it. It's a great thing. It's called democracy, freedom. Don't watch the channel. If you don't like the content, don't watch it. It makes it better for everybody else who does like it. The Wookiee says, Mark, Pogba and Mourinho always get an easy ride. Not at all. Not at all. I thought Mourinho is culpable as the manager, and Pogba as our best player was poor tonight. In fact, I never thought I'd say this, but I wish Herrera hadn't got injured and Pogba had never come on, because Herrera actually looked on it and the injury is such a shame. Pogba was poor. Daniel, can you hear me?
Sure can, Mark. What's going on? Apart from that horrible performance.
Yeah. Well, not a great performance, but a good result. Not a great result. 1-1's better. It's always a disadvantage when you don't get an away goal, but it's a miracle we came out not conceding one. So I think 0-0, I'm pretty pleased with it. But interesting second leg to come.
It was a disgrace to football. I mean, that's what I saw. It's like, they call it the beautiful game, and nothing about that was tactical. Nothing about that was anything to do with a good performance, a good defensive performance. That was just being lucky and really having De Gea come and save your ass, because there was no stones in that game from Jose to do anything in terms of getting any sort of result. I mean, we were holding on for dear life. That could have been 2, 3, 4, you pick the number. And when is it going to end, man? When does it end? And it can't end with the midfield, because the midfield, these are guys that he signed these guys to play in the midfield, right? He signed Matic to play in the midfield. He signed Pogba to play in the midfield. He played Pogba on the left, which is his favorite position. I'm still seeing nothing. I see 11 guys out there throwing their arms up, not knowing where the other guys are going to be. No one knows where who's making a run where, because how can you when he doesn't pick the same team week in and week out? I mean, how many lineups has he used in this year alone?
It's interesting. I mean, I've heard. I saw a comment earlier, and it's a very good one. And I think everyone's on the same page with this anyway. We know we were lucky tonight, but the result's good, and we move on. And I think we'll see it. Hopefully, we'll see a different side against Chelsea, and I do think we'll win that. But there was a comment earlier, and it was along the lines of, what concerns me is I didn't see any adaptation to the way the game was going. It wasn't like Sevilla hit us hard in the last 10 minutes and battered us and should have had 5 goals in the last 10 minutes. This was 80 minutes. I mean, their heads dropped in the last 10, Sevilla, and we might have nicked something. But for 80 minutes, they kept getting good chances. And for 80 minutes, we didn't respond to that. So what was the plan if we went 1-0 down, or 2-0 down, or 3-0 down? What was our plan? Mourinho didn't seem to have anything to respond to what was going on. The midfield kept getting ran through. We weren't getting the ball quick enough to the forwards, and there was never any adaptation. It was always a performance where we were sort of praying that we didn't concede and can get out there with maybe a 0-0 like we did, or nick a goal. But there was no adaptation to the plan. What was the plan tonight in your mind? And do you think we just don't have the bench to do that? I mean, Pogba came on, but there was no other midfielder option.
Well, the thing is about the squad and the bench and that, right? Let me ask you a couple questions, and you tell me. Do you think that on paper, top to bottom, our squad is better than Spurs? We have more talent individually. So I think we do.
Yeah, somebody said that as well. I mean, what Sevilla players get into a United lineup? I don't think any.
Right. So Spurs go to Turin. They play Juventus. They get 2 goals. They dominated the game. They probably should have won the game.
Yeah.
We play Sevilla away. We look totally lost. We look like the side that has been playing in the Europa League for 3 straight years. Not Sevilla. And there's one denominator in that, and it's the manager. And I back the manager. I think that when you're in the bad position we were in, there was only one way to go, and that was to get somebody in who's a proven winner. But I mean, it's been 18 months. It's not going to change. I mean, all these horses that he has on the field are basically more or less his players. There's guys that he could get rid of that he doesn't choose to get rid of, and he chooses to play. And I just can you see this getting better? I know you said before the watch along you want to hope, but I cannot see any of this changing. Who does he bring in? You think that he brought in Matic this summer? You think that next summer he's just going to totally leave him out and he's going to replace him with somebody? Because he's going to be playing next year too, and he's not going to get better. He's 31. It's only it's just a sad situation because you thought there was and the progression is, it's undeniable. We have done better in the league, and we have scored more, and we've conceded less, and I understand that. And not to sound greedy, you want to see better product, but why are we the only English team that played in the Champions League this week that really we got embarrassed? Okay, the result was a 0-0, but we got embarrassed. And I understand that City played an easier opposition, and so did Liverpool. But we are the only team out there that we looked like we didn't belong, and that should never be the case with our team. And it's almost sad to watch, and it's so frustrating. It's like you're watching something and you can't do anything about it because you're the fan. It's just sad. It's sad, man.
I said at the start of the week, if we can beat Huddersfield, draw with Sevilla, and beat Chelsea, it's a good week. I totally agree. The football is tough. I suppose tonight was I just think Chelsea's massive for more ways than one. I think it's a home game, so he can't play like that. The fans are becoming irritated by the game, by the football, and they'll respond if they see that at the weekend. Chelsea are more than capable of coming and beating us. I just think on Sunday we're going to see a more attacking United, a more up for it United, a pumped Old Trafford, and I'm hoping that will be the spark to kick us on to. We've got Liverpool to come at home, we've got Sevilla at home, so we've got a few. I think what United need is a performance like this at home as soon as possible, because the Old Trafford crowd won't put up with it. They'll start, and he'll either have to, away games. You can get away with it. You can get away with those sort of performances because you can't really hear what the fans are on about, and the away support are brilliant, and they'll just back them know what. The home support, if it's not good, they'll let him know, and that is my sort of hope, that he knows that and he'll have to respond to it, because I think if these last two games had been at home, there'd have been different reactions from the fans, and but I think a lot depends on Chelsea on Sunday, and. But, I can't defend the fact that he's been here for nearly 2 years. These are his players. He's begging Fellaini to stay. I mean, Fellaini's fit. Fellaini probably plays tonight. I'd rather McTominay play than Fellaini, I'll tell you that.
Well, yeah, absolutely. But my question to you is, if we play, when we play Chelsea on Sunday, what changes are being made? The midfield's going to be the same, right? He can't bring anybody else, and there's nobody to bring in. Maybe he'll bring in Carrick, but is that to replace Pogba, or is that to replace McTominay? It's not going to be to replace Matic. Does he take out Mata and put on Lingard? Are those changes making anything better? Are they making any difference? There's still no cohesion. These dudes don't play with each other enough to know where anyone's supposed to be. There's too much messing around with the lineup. They call Ranieri the Tinkerman, but they should be calling Mourinho that, because no one's played a consecutive string of games in the same position, except for Matic. He's been the only guy that's been there for almost the whole season, and Lukaku up front. Other than that, like the return leg, right? A bunch of people were saying under Sir Alex, we could have had a similar result in the Champions League, but then at home we blitzed them, and we did that with Bayern Munich. Believe it was the 2010-2011 when it was 3-0 in the first half, and then at the end of the first half, Ivica Olic scored the goal. It was 3-1, and then Robin scored 3-2. But we blitzed them in the first half, and for most of that game. But what changes are going to get made in the home leg to Sevilla that's going to make us a better team? Do you see him swapping in Martial? I don't. He's going to leave him out again. You know what I mean? So what's really going to change? He's going to play the same lineup and expect them to flip a switch. The only team I see in the Premier League that could flick a switch is City, because they could go from playing a grinded out game to come in and overpower you. I mean, even that game against Wigan that they just played, how many chances did they have? How much possession did they have of the ball? Now they lost, but you always felt like it was coming. I don't feel like anything's coming with this United team at all. I sit back waiting to be scored on, especially in today's game.
Thanks for calling in, Daniel. Really good points.
Absolutely, Mark. And just one last thing I want to say is, for everybody in the comments, usually the comments are pretty spot on and they're pretty kind. But for everybody in the comments, trashing people that are American or foreign or have a weird accent or whatever the case may be, until you have the ball bag to call up yourself, keep your mouth shut. Love you, buddy.
Cheers, Daniel. Thank you very much. I wasn't aware of that. We've got moderators on there. I have noticed a lot of things on the live comments tonight, which I was going to comment on anyway. But remember, this is a community, the United Stand community, and different opinions count. That's what football's about, and that's what the United Stand has always been about. Is people saying stop with the negativity. I'm trying to be very even-handed. I do back Mourinho. I think he can turn it round. I've had a couple of moans about him tonight, but that's not unusual. It doesn't mean I don't support him. It doesn't mean I don't think tonight's performance is good for United. if not lucky. But people are very frustrated with the football. People are very angry with the manager. People think he's been here long enough to not have these problems. That's their opinion. Some people are happy. Some people are like, it's a good result, stop moaning. I always, half glass full, I'm happy. Great. All about opinion. So just respect each other. And if people are having a pop at people just because they're from America or wherever, come on, grow up. We're the biggest supported global club in the world. You don't want foreign people supporting your club. Go and support Macclesfield Town, because that's what Manchester United will be, a small club. We're the biggest club in the world because of that global support. Stop. This is what I said before the game even kicked off. The United Stand is a great community because people don't abuse each other and they listen to people's opinions. Now, you might be so happy with tonight's performance and you hate negativity. If that's what you feel like now, probably just not watch the United Stand tonight. Probably watch the fan cams a bit later. Probably watch the preview for Chelsea where it's a different mentality and we've all calmed down a bit. Just respect each other. That's what I would say. Anyway, what I wanted to draw attention to is our next few fixtures because Daniel got me thinking about it. So Chelsea against Manchester United at home on Sunday. It's 2:05. I thought it was 4:30 for some reason. So 2:05 on Sunday. Is the kickoff time for the Chelsea game. That's at home. We can't play like that. It's impossible to play like that again because Hello?
Hello, mate.
I'm actually live at the moment, Flex.
Oh, right. Everyone hear me?
I don't know why. No, because I've got you on my phone. That's why. Don't know why. They can now, yeah.
Oh, no, they can. Yeah, we're just on our way back to get these fan cams up to you guys. The police there, they keep the away fans for like half an hour, 40 minutes after kickoff. After the final whistle. So that's why we're a little bit late. But we've got some good stuff, some contrasting stuff because, although...
A bit like this show then tonight. It's been very contrasting. I've had... Someone's told me off and everything.
You know what it is? I didn't want to go down a negative route because we have to remember it's a two-legged tie. But I'm not going to lie to you guys. Sitting there and seeing us play that bad, and if De Gea didn't save us like he has done loads of times, we could have been 2 or 3-0 down. The tie would have been over. So we got to count our lucky stars in some respects, but it's just not good enough. Some of the fans are saying, which you guys are seeing in the fan camps, that the balance has all gone since Alexis has come. He's messed everything up, which is not his fault. They're saying it's Jose's fault. One fan said that Jose just bought Sanchez because he could. He didn't need him. One fan is worried that Mourinho is going to lose Martial, because of it. They think that he's going to lose patience. He spoke about the Pogba situation. So lots to talk about. Really good fan cams, and me and Jordan are just marching across town now to our apartment so we can get those fan cams to you guys because you guys deserve it.
I tell you what, those fan cams sound really interesting, and I think the majority of people are going to enjoy listening to those fans who've been out in Sevilla with Flex and Jordan, watching United spending a lot of money, getting their opinions. Going to be really interesting. So really looking forward to that. And I think we should do this more often, Flex, if we're still live. Get you on to give us your thoughts. In general, I think most people are Mourinho very happy with McTominay, and didn't want to talk about Pogba. Herrera's injury looks bad, which is a shame. I thought he played really well for 15 minutes.
He did.
But midfield's the issue again.
It is. Midfield is the issue. I mean, I did say I don't want to spoil it too much. I won't talk too much about it, but I did say in my review of the game that I think McTominay, as a young player coming through the youth ranks in his breakthrough season, could probably lead the pitch with his head held high. He kicked the ball where he could have. He put it about a bit. He won possession where he could. And I think he played all right. He didn't do anything amazing, but he didn't do anything wrong. And where we didn't attack well as a unit, that wasn't down to Scott McTominay. I think he played pretty well. But there were times in the game I just looked at our midfield and I just thought, this midfield's non-existent. And then Pogba comes on, and I don't want to spoil it too much because I said it in my review of the match. But if I'm Pogba, I'm eager to prove a point now. Okay, fair enough. Herrera's been injured, so he's come on a lot earlier than he thought he would have done. And I just didn't get anything from him, and I'm starting to really worry what's going on there because something's not right. I didn't want to believe the media hype, which I still don't to a certain extent because that's just the Man United hate police as usual. But but we can't hide from the fact that there is something wrong. Now, I don't know whether it's just Pogba's just in a bad bit of form and needs to sort his head out, sort his life out, stop doing all these Adidas commercials where he's spinning the football on his toe, doing all this nonsense, and just get back to football, come off social media for a bit and reevaluate his life, or whether that's because he is having second thoughts. And now I'm starting to have second thoughts as to whether there is actually a big problem with Pogba. That does worry me. I'm not going to lie about that.
Okay. All right. Well, cheers, Flex, because obviously this is going to cost you a lot of money from
no
Spain.
problem.
But we're looking forward to those fan cams. I think they're going to be really interesting, and I'll speak to you probably tomorrow now. Or in a bit.
Cheers. You should have them in a little while. Take care, guys.
Cheers, pal. Nice to get Flex on there from old Spain. And I must say, I've been really looking forward to the fan cams tonight, because they will be. These are fans. It's not. I mean, it's going to the ground and everything's great, but these are people who've been out to Spain, so they'll have spent a lot of money on that. So I think we'll get some really good opinions. So if you are staying up a bit late, they should be up around, I'd say 11:30, midnight. Keep your eyes for those, or watch them again in the morning. But there was one thing I wanted to just have a quick look at with you, actually. We play Chelsea at home on Sunday. Then our next few games after that, Palace away, then Liverpool at home, and then 3 days later, Sevilla at home. So 6 of our next games are at home, because after Sevilla we've got Brighton and then we've got Swansea at home. So 6 of our next 5 games are at home. Then we've got Man City. So 6 of our next 5 games are at home. They can't play like this. This is where I think we're going to turn the corner. You can't play like that at home. The fans won't put up with it. And United, I think we'll be fine. I think we've just got to take the result tonight, be frustrated with it, but I think we'll be fine. I also wanted to just draw your attention to something as well. It might not make you feel so happy, but all the same, I'm going to do it. So, let's have a look. Manchester United versus Sevilla. This is the FOTMOB app. The link is in the video description for it. Just wanted to have a quick look at key players. Muriel, Banega. Oh, it's obviously going to be Sevilla, isn't it? That's no surprise. Stats, that's what I wanted to have a look at. Possession, 56% to Sevilla, which isn't terrible for United. Lots more passes from them, you'd expect that. Shots on target, 8 to our 1, and total shots, 25 to their 6. Corners, 12 to our 4. I mean, it's abundantly clear that they absolutely, well and truly battered us. But I also just wanted to have a quick look at the news. De Gea, happy with his wonderful save, and let's have a look at what Mourinho said. Mourinho just hugged the commentator for asking about McTominay instead of Pogba. Arslicker, that commentator. Can I hug you? Mourinho said to BT Sports. It's a good question, because when I went to press conference, all the questions were about Pogba. I think the questions should be about this kid. I think he was fantastic. He did everything well. He put pressure on Banega, which was important to stop their playmaker playing. He was always... Propaganda Jose. Look, let's admit McTominay did okay, but did he stop Banega playing? Did Sevilla not create loads of chances? It's parallel universe stuff. It really is. But that's Mourinho. That's not. I'm not popping at McTominay about that. That's Mourinho throwing his propaganda at you to make himself look special. Anyway, thanks everyone. FOTMOB app is in the link in the video description. It's free to download, and it's really good for all your Manchester United stuff, your stats, your player stats, and your latest news. And also, I think our videos go up on there as well. So the fan cams will go up on there, so you can get notifications for those if your notifications aren't working. So thanks everyone for watching. Look, it's all about opinion. Tomorrow we'll all feel in a different mood. Please, the one thing I haven't said is, if you're new to the channel, subscribe, bottom right hand corner. Click that subscribe button, get involved, and also please smash the like button. Let's see if we can get 1,000 likes before we go off air, because there's 2,900 people watching. So if just 1,000 of you like it, we'll hit 1,000 likes before we go off air. And if anybody's not subscribed, bottom right hand corner, we're getting closer and closer to 200,000. We've got some great prizes coming up for that, by the way. But don't forget, it's all about opinion. It's all about opinion. It's a global fan channel, and everybody's opinion matters. No abuse. We don't want any of that. Tomorrow, we're building towards Chelsea. Got some really good shows planned for it. I think we'll be talking a little bit about Pogba and Mourinho as well. I thought that one had been put to bed last Friday. It appears not. So we'll be back talking about that probably tomorrow night at 8 o'clock. And we've got a daytime show to come up for you as well. So thanks everybody for watching. Drop a like on the video and subscribe to the channel if you're new. Let's get 1,000 likes. Brilliant calls tonight. Really good to get diverse opinion. And thanks to all the moderators. I can see snaps there. They've all been on tonight, which is great. Great callers. And I just want to applaud the live comments because you're the ones who get the topics and the comments moving over. So really, really great from you. It's been a long night. We didn't get beat. That's the positive thing. And I think, like I say, next 5 games from the next 6 are at home. So we can't, the crowd won't let that happen. So I just got a feeling things are going to change. Maybe I'm just tired. Thanks for watching. Speak to you all soon.